Yeah, I think role guys still got some more names to talk about that could be heating up very soon here. Of AJ Halsey visiting here Monday. You got Marty Brown, the running back from North Dakota State. That decision can come at any moment now. We'll do a reaction pod when that comes. North Dakota State running back, FCS Freshman of the Year, Jerry Rice Award winner. But before we get into those, want to start with the commitments, beginning with Keelan Marion, a wide receiver out of BYU, originally from Atlanta, Georgia. This is a veteran player, been around the block, started off at UConn before moving to BYU. 6 foot, 197, good size kid. And really what stands out here is the kick returning. This is a first-team All-America kick returner. He averaged 26 yards a return last year, including 2 long touchdown returns. Has 3 touchdown returns on kickoff in his career, more of a kickoff returner than a punt returner. So we'll see him focus there. 2 full yards ahead of Chris Johnson last year in terms of kickoff return, plus the touchdown. So should be an upgrade in that department. Of course, you're not just bringing him in to be a returner. He wants to be more of a complete receiver. 76 catches, about 1,100 yards, 12 touchdowns for his career. Also has run the ball a little bit on jet sweeps and things of that nature. Hasn't put it together yet as far as receiving. Came in strong with 474 yards as a freshman for Connecticut. Dealt with some injuries last year for BYU. 24 catches, 346 yards, 1 touchdown, then 96 more yards rushing. So he is more of a returner than a receiver at this stage. But because he's shown so many flashes as a receiver, has so many tools, he was actually ranked as the top portal receiver for this spring period, ahead of Pena, which I was surprised by. But that's how 247 ranked him. Brings a speed dimension. I think there's more there as a receiver. He was wearing the number 1 this spring for BYU. He was making so many plays in practice. They thought he was going to be that number 1 receiver. We'll see if he can do that for Carson Beck, because Miami obviously would love him to be an All-America returner again, but that's not just what this move is about.
Yeah, look, obviously Miami has been searching for another receiver, and ideally it's like a for sure number 1 guy, and I'm not sure that's what this pickup is, but like you said, I probably just by the statistics, it's a bit of a surprise that he's rated ahead of Pena in terms of the transfer rankings. But I think the reason for that is because what the ceiling is in terms of, you see that ability in the return game, and some of that you would hope can translate into the big playability as a wide receiver. And look, people are going to say what they want about, you need to get more, you need to continue to get to stack the chips on in terms of playmakers. But you said it, this is the highest rated guy right now out there. So they went out there and got him. That's what was available right now. And look, I think it's a solid piece to build upon what you have. You're obviously going to need these young guys to step up at that position.
No question about it. So just sticking with Marion for a second, usually with kick returners, they're smaller. This guy's not small. He's almost 200 pounds. He's a physically mature 22, 23-year-old player. So that aspect is unique as far as the return profile and moving a receiver, or being more of a receiver, I should say, because of his size, that he can use that physicality more so than like a 5'6", Brandon James type. So he has that in his bag. I think the speed is an element that we need. But yeah, like you said, we had talked about Miami potentially getting a proven number one receiver out of the portal, and it's just the supply wasn't there. This was the highest rated receiver in the portal. And I think this is I'm a huge believer in transfer portal quarterbacks. You saw 11 of the 12 FBS quarterbacks that got drafted this weekend were FBS guys. And by the way, we should talk about the draft too, by the way. We'll talk about that here in a second. But 11 of the 12 quarterbacks that were FBS were transfer portal guys, Jalen Milroe being the only exception. So I'm all about transfer quarterbacks. However, one negative is when you don't have a Carson Beck setup, that hurts you in the ability to get an Eric Singleton, right? That hurts you in the ability to get, Zachariah Branch, some of those guys in that earlier window, Marion Brown, that probably would have had more of a receiving impact on paper, right? Based on what they had done in college. So that's the negative, but ultimately you get a player who's a blue chip transfer. You have the number 4 portal class after this commitment. And I think this is someone that could help Miami both on special teams and with his speed on offense.